Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the second chapter of economics, that is sector of Indian economy. In this chapter we will talk about various type of sectors and how these sectors work. Look at your society or at your market, you will find people are engaged in various economic activities. By economic activities we mean activities done for monetary gain. Some are producing goods and some services. These activities are classified into groups using some important criteria, and these groups are known as sector of economy. And sector of Indian economy are broadly classified in three ways. Number one, on the basis of nature of activities, we have three sector: primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. Number two, on the basis of ownership, we have two sector: public and private sector. And number three, on the basis of employment, we also have two sector: organized and unorganized sector. Now let's talk about sector on the basis of nature of activities. Let's start with primary sector. As the name suggests, it is related to primary activities. Everything that relates directly to nature would come under primary sector. And what do we do here? We produce good by extraction and collection of natural resources. For example, like farming, forestry, hunting, fishing, and mining. The next is secondary sector. Under secondary sector, what we are doing here is we are changing the form of natural product that we have through ways of manufacturing. Okay, for example, using cotton fiber from plant, we spin yarn and weave cotton clothes. Using sugar cane as raw material, we make sugar or gur. So, in a secondary sector, we are transforming these natural resources into other form, right? Through ways of manufacturing. So, some manufacturing is required in the secondary sector. Therefore, it is also called the industrial sector. The next is tertiary sector. Under the tertiary sector, what we do is we try to give aid or support for the production, or we will provide support or services to primary and secondary sector. For example, let's say I have an agricultural product, say rice, on my piece of land, and this rice I want to transport to some other region. What will I do? I will try to use transportation, right? This transportation is tertiary sector because we are providing a support facilities or services to the primary sector. So unlike primary and secondary sector, tertiary sector produces or generate services like banking, transportation, teachers, doctor, washermen, barbers, cobblers, and therefore it is also known as service sector. Remember, okay, that tertiary sector is also known as service sector because tertiary sector produces or it generates services. Okay, so these are the sectors based on nature of activities. The higher the contribution or the higher the production of goods and services by this sector, the higher will be our GDP, gross, that is gross domestic product. Now, what is GDP and how do we count goods and services? It is a very important concept to understand to avoid any kind of double counting. By double counting, we mean counting the value of the same product more than once. If you are counting the value of the same product more than once, it may be twice, maybe thrice. If you're counting more than once, then it's a double counting. So, to avoid any kind of double counting, what we need to do is we need to make sure that the product we are adding is added only once. Okay, farmers supplies farmers supplies wheat farmers supply rice to the flour mill at the rate of rupees 20 per kg, okay, per kg to the flour mill. And flour mill grinds the rice, provide to the beggar to the baker at rupees 30 per kg.
918.
Okay, at rupees 30 per kg. And a baker use flour, sweet, milk, etc. And finally provide packed biscuit to the grocer at rupees 40 per packed biscuit. And grocer sell this packed biscuit at rupees 45 to his customer. Okay, so let me repeat. Farmers supply rice to the flour mill at the rate of rupees 20 per kg. The flour mill grinds the rice, provide to the beggar at rupees 30 per kg, and beggar use flour, sweet, meal, etc. and finally provide packed biscuit to grocer at rupees 40 per packet. And grocer will sell this biscuit at rupees 45 per packet to his customer. Okay, so what does this mean? This mean that the biscuit, okay, the packed biscuit would have ingredient of rice. The baker would again have ingredient as rice. The flour would again have ingredient as rice, and the farmer is definitely supplying rice. So this rice is added at all the four stages, right? At all the four steps. So if we are counting the value of rice from all these stages or from all these steps, we are making a double counting. Okay, so to avoid this double counting, what we are going to do is that we are going to count only the value of the final product, that is rupees 45, where the packed biscuit are made available to the customer. That is the final value of that rice, okay, or that biscuit. All right, so we are going to take only the final value of this of goods and services. Okay, so now let's see what is GDP, gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is a summation of the production that is done through primary, secondary, and tertiary. Okay, so the value of all the final goods and services produced in a domestic territory by primary, secondary, and tertiary is known as your GDP, or gross domestic product. Let me repeat it again. GDP is equal to the value of all the final goods and services produced in a country by primary, secondary, as well as tertiary sector. Okay, and in India, the task of measuring GDP is undertaken by Central Statistics Office, CSO, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So this is the end of my first part of the second chapter of economics. See you in my next part. Till then, take care. Bye bye.